This is session 2. I'm going to be the clinician and Chris is going to be the client. So hi Chris, thanks for coming in again. Last time we met, we talked about how you feel kind of spread thin about your work and graduate school and then making time with your friends. And I sensed a lot of frustration coming from you when we met before. So how are you feeling about it now?
I'm feeling a little bit better. Last time we talked, I was a little bit stressed about midterms, a lot of paperwork and papers and a lot of work just kind of all cramming together. Now that those are out of the way, I feel like I have this much more breathing room and a little bit goes a long way. So.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that you feel a little bit of relief now that that's kind of out of the way. Have you talked to your friends at all lately? How is that going?
Yeah, I did. I got a hold of them. I wanted to let them know that I'm sorry for being absent. I feel like they deserve an apology because they're asking me to be there all the time, and I always have to say no, and I feel kind of guilty about that. But they were really understanding, and that was good. But at the same time, I also felt bad about it because I have these awesome friends that understand what I'm going through, but I still can't be there.
Okay. So even though your friends are accepting of the fact that you have so much going on, you're still feeling kind of bad about not being able to be there for them.
Exactly.
So what is it? What does bad feel like to you? What does that mean for you?
Well, good feels, happy. Bad's kind of, in this case, the world isn't ending or anything. It's not super dramatic, but bad feels like guilt. I feel that little bit of a sinking feeling in the stomach because, like I said, my people are awesome, and I don't get to be with them, and it's just kind of like missing someone all the time. That never really goes away. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're feeling a little bit guilty, and that's a negative feeling for you.
Absolutely.
What does guilt look like for you?
Well, guilt is, just guilt for me is like taking but never giving. I feel like my friends are always offering, but I never get to basically hold up my end of the friendship. That's what it feels like. They're always sticking out their hand for me to be there, but I never take it, except once every so often.
Okay. So when you're feeling guilty, what do you usually do about that?
Well, usually I just do everything that I have to do. I don't get to do too much about it, but the best way for me to handle it is to just knock down all of my priorities, and hopefully that will give me the opportunity to make time for my friends.
Okay. So Chris, what I'm sensing is that you're feeling a little bit of pressure, like you don't have enough time in the day. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. There's pressure to get deadlines done at work. There's pressure to get classwork done, and the classwork that's essentially dictating how my life is going to go. Right. So I need to make sure that I do well there. I need to be able to feed myself and afford rent, so I have to perform well at work. And the only time I get to relax is with my friends. It's just that time doesn't really exist so much.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you're kind of putting your needs above your wants?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But essentially yes. As far as my absolute needs for career and feeding myself, all of that, all of those are coming first. But I know it's a want that I want to be with my friends, but I also do need to be with my friends.
Okay. So what are the benefits of getting to see your friends? What are the things that make you happy when you're with them?
Well, I consider it to be self-care. I get to relax. I get to have fun. I get to socialize. People got to be around people, but in order to get things done, I isolate all the time. So even if I'm going around the corner, for example, to see my friends, I feel like I'm on vacation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those friends are kind of a comfort to you, really help you to decompress?
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about what a typical day looks like for you, because I know you said you're really busy.
Yeah, so, I'm doing something every single day of the week. Monday and Tuesday, I have class. Wednesday and Thursday, I'm working 8 to 9 hours out of the day.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'm working overnight, and that's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night into Monday.
Okay.
And that really bothers me too, because then my sleep schedule gets a little messed up. So I'm sleeping during the day, and then if I'm sleeping during the day and then I'm doing stuff at night, that leaves zero time for me to be able to do daily things like laundry and dishes and vacuum. So my house is a mess right now.
Okay, so I guess what I'm hearing you say is that when it comes to work and school, you have been feeling a little bit bothered by the fact that you can't get any of your daily chores done, and then after that, you can't even think about seeing your friends because it just doesn't seem like you have any time.
Absolutely, because if I do have time, I'm like, all right, well, since I have 2 hours, if I don't sleep those 2 hours, I need to do dishes, I need to be able to cook so I have food for the overnight, because nothing here is open after 11, and once I'm at work I can't really leave because I have to answer phones and everything, but there's literally no time.
Right. Well, I sense that you're feeling really stressed about this situation. It seems like you don't have a lot of time, and you're really feeling that pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's how it is most of the time. Like I said, once I finally get a chance to get all of the major stuff out of the way, I get a little bit of breathing room. And sometimes when I get that breathing room, sometimes I do want to see people, sometimes I don't. I'm dead to the world at that point. Like I gotta lay down.
Okay. What do you mean by dead to the world? What does that mean for you?
That, like, I feel like I'm a vegetable. Like I'm just completely burnt out.
Okay.
I've been going full speed for weeks at a time, a rare sleep. So when I do get that breathing space, like I don't even want to do anything at that point. Like I don't want to clean, I don't want to cook. I want to go to sleep and just lay down and recover my energy to continue doing that.
Okay. So what we've kind of talked about so far is that you're going to work, you're going to school, and then even when you have a spare moment, you don't really feel like doing much. But I know you said earlier in the session that you really want to see your friends. So how do you think you could fit them into this?
Well, I don't really think that I can so much, but I have been thinking about changing my job.
Okay.
If I change my overnight job, and I can find work during the week, during regular hours, I feel like I'd have more time on the weekends. One day I can do stuff during the day, hang out with my friends at night, maybe 2 or 3 days out of the weekend, but it would be a more normal schedule. And then, if I needed to, I could dedicate a little bit of time each night to studying without feeling like I'm overwhelmed throughout the day.
So you're feeling overwhelmed right now?
Yeah, well, especially last week I was feeling more overwhelmed than this week, but I know that it comes and it's going to be coming in waves for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back to what you said about maybe getting a new job. Is that something that you've looked into?
Yeah, that's definitely something I've looked into, and so far things are looking up. I've gotten quite a few interviews. There's one job that I'm considering, one of my part-time jobs, my Wednesday and Thursday job, I plan on doing full-time.
Okay.
Because they'll be paying quite a bit better. So I'll be able to do that during the week and then take off from my weekend job. And I think that would allow me more time to do school, and then just not work on the weekend. And then I can take my time and read, relax, do whatever I need to do. Or want to do.
I'm noticing when you're talking about this new job, you're a lot calmer. You kind of relaxed a little bit talking to me about it. How are you feeling about this, making this change?
Hopeful.
Hopeful.
Hope is good. It gives me something to look forward to. And I think that, or I'm hoping that once I make that transition, things will be smoother, as far as everything goes. So the good thought helps me relax a little bit, and as long as there's a plan in place and things seem to be going well, then I think things should fall into place. I hope things fall into place.
I hope so too. So today we talked a little bit more about how you're feeling kind of spread thin between work and school, and you're really feeling guilty that your friends aren't really getting the attention that you'd like to give them or that they'd kind of like from you. And it sounds like you're feeling a little more relaxed when we talk about changing to a new job or adding more hours to your day job, your weekly job, regular hours, things like that. But I also noticed we didn't really get to everything today, so would you like to meet another time next week?
Absolutely, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much.